The Magic Mountain by Thomas Mann is a profound and intricately layered novel set in a sanatorium in the Swiss Alps before World War I. It follows the journey of Hans Castorp, a young German engineer, who arrives at the Berghof sanatorium intending to visit his cousin, Joachim, for just 3 weeks. However, Castorp becomes gradually drawn into the sanatorium's rarefied, isolated world, and his brief visit extends into a 7-year stay. As he acclimatizes to the unique rhythms of life in the sanatorium, Castorp becomes engrossed in conversations with the various patients, who represent a spectrum of European intellectual and cultural perspectives. The novel explores complex themes through Castorp's interactions, which serve as a means for Mann to critique and reflect on European society and the forces that led to the cataclysm of World War I. Among the patients who influence Hans are 2 contrasting mentors. Settembrini, an Italian humanist and ardent believer in Enlightenment ideals, advocates for reason, progress, and the transformative power of knowledge. His voice is one of optimism, a beacon of classical Western values that emphasize social responsibility and progress. Opposing Settembrini is Nafta, a reclusive, intellectually intense Jesuit who argues for a more mystical, anti-rational approach to life, advocating for radical revolution and spiritual absolutism. Their debates become an intellectual battleground, with Castorp caught in the crossfire, increasingly aware of the conflicting ideologies shaping Europe. Mann uses these characters to delve into themes of humanism, fascism, and spiritual transcendence, making the sanatorium a microcosm of the broader ideological struggles defining the era. As Castorp spends more time on the mountain, he begins a journey of introspection, contemplation, and philosophical inquiry. His experience of time itself begins to shift in the sanatorium's insular world. Days blend into each other, reflecting the surreal, suspended nature of life on the mountain, where patients are removed from the urgency of the outside world, entranced by the monotonous and slow passage of time. Castorp's personal growth and intellectual awakening are marked by episodes that challenge his understanding of life and mortality, particularly as he becomes romantically interested in Klavdia Chowchat, a mysterious Russian patient whose presence represents both desire and unattainable idealism. Castorp's infatuation with Klavdia symbolizes his deepening immersion into the irrational, subconscious aspects of life, pushing him further from his practical roots. Throughout his stay, Hans also grapples with the idea of illness and mortality, observing the patient's attitudes toward life and death. Life in the sanatorium is imbued with an ever-present awareness of death, yet this awareness fosters a detachment that paradoxically intensifies life's fleeting pleasures and trivialities. Castorp undergoes an epiphanic experience during a night in a snowstorm, which leads him to an understanding of the dualities of life and death, love and suffering, individuality and universality. His eventual realization suggests a reconciliation of the competing forces he has encountered and reflects Mann's own contemplation on the need for balance between the rational and the mystical, between progress and tradition. As the novel concludes, Hans finally leaves the sanatorium, swept into the tide of history and the outbreak of World War I. He emerges from the Magic Mountain changed, yet uncertain, embodying the psychological and existential complexities of modernity itself. The Magic Mountain is an allegory for the social and intellectual upheavals of pre-war Europe, a meditation on time, mortality, and the tensions between individual freedom and societal expectation. Mann's novel demands deep engagement from readers, challenging them to confront the most difficult questions about human existence, purpose, and the inexorable pull of history. Through Hans Castorp's journey, The Magic Mountain becomes a timeless exploration of humanity's quest for meaning amid the ambiguities and conflicts of an increasingly fragmented world.